So I want to talk a little bit. Hi guys, by the way, hi, it's Kasim. Welcome back again to my channel. I hope you're having a good week. I hope everything is all right. I want to talk to you a little bit about Ross Edgley. I made some notes about him. I was studying him a little while ago, and I was looking back at some notes that I had made about him, and I wrote down three things that I wanted to share with you, and I hope they can maybe I don't know, trigger something for you to think about. Maybe there might be something for you to think, to act on in your own life. But I hope in some way they can help you to become a higher, fuller expression of yourself. But before I get into it, guys, as usual, if you want to help me get to 1,000 subscribers by June and you want to support me, please can you like and subscribe to my channel? You'd be an absolute legend. Okay, cool. So, Ross Edgley is one of these really interesting people to study, in the sense that he definitely is an anomaly. He's a very different. I think they call these. They call him a hybrid athlete. He's one of these individuals who is capable of achieving great things in his life, and who is very versatile in the things that he can do in his life, which is very 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 rare. Not only is he very physically big and heavy, but he's also very agile. He's also very flexible. And I found him absolutely fascinating, and I would get you to like go and check out his YouTube channel. Go and check this guy out because he's absolutely amazing. He's worked with people like Liam's Hemsworth and loads of incredible people. So go and check him out. I'm going to put the link of his YouTube channel down below. So please go and check him out because he's amazing. So the first thing that I wrote down about him is he has this philosophy of always pushing yourself, or resilience, right? And I absolutely love that. And I guess it's the thing that is the first thing that I wanted to talk to you about, which is how much have you been pushing yourself recently, right? Because let's be completely honest here. Most of us, if you look at the capacity that we have, let's say that's a 10, most of us in our lives, we're not operating at a 10. We're not even operating at 8 or 9. Most of us, a lot of the time, are operating at about a 3 or 4. And the thing that I was thinking about is, so many of us, we have not just like, not just capacity in terms of physically, but mentally, but emotionally, but spiritually, but potential in terms of our creativity. And most of us never exercise these aspects of ourselves. And I was looking at Ross Edgley, and I was looking at all these different events that he's been involved in, that has been done, that he's collaborated with people. And I was just thinking, like, for me, as Kasim, or for you in your own life, what would happen if you actually started collaborating with other people? Like, imagine if you took some of the ideas that you have and you started collaborating with other people, and you started linking up with other people, and you started partnershiping up with other people, and you went to other people and asked them to give you advice on things. Like, what could you actually do? Like, I was thinking about this, and it's something actually I think I talked about in a previous episode of Journal Entries, where I said, imagine what would happen if you spent 2 years of your life giving more than 80% all the time. What would happen? What would happen to your results? What would happen to your productivity? What would happen if you spent the next 2 years giving 100% to your marriage? I mean, being as loving as you can, being as physically fit as you can be, reading as many books on relationships, on empathy, on understanding your partner, journaling, being as romantic as you can be. What could actually happen to your relationship? And I was just thinking about this aspect of life. And I think so many of us, we go through life and we've never really put the pedal to the metal, right? We've never fully accelerated to see what could we actually do? What can this car do, metaphorically speaking, obviously? What could we do? What could we actually accomplish if we gave everything to everything? There's a concept that I absolutely love, which is very typical in the kind of coaching arena, when people say, if you had a year to live, what would you do? Right? You knew you were going to die in a year. They said to you, you have cancer or something, you have a year to live. What would you do? And the thing is, a lot of people, I think we can all agree, would live life with intensity. People would not be going on 0% or 10% or 30 or 40%. Most of us would be living life at 100%. Our energy levels would be up. Our enthusiasm would be up. Our openness of our heart, of our soul, of our emotional energy would be up. And I wondered, I wondered what you could do if you actually did that. Because the thing, excuse me, the thing that I've noticed about life is that greatness cannot be achieved when operating at our lower frequencies. In other words, every single one of us has a capacity for greatness. I think it was Martin Luther King Jr. who said that not everybody can be wealthy, but everybody can achieve greatness, because greatness is not determined by wealth, it is determined by service, right? The impact that we leave on other people. And all of us can do that. And I was just thinking about Ross Edgley and how he's pushing himself with the bikes, pushing himself with carrying a log and trying to swim across the country, swimming across the whole of the UK. Like, this guy's pushing himself to see what he can do. And I just thought for you for a second, and even for me, what could we do if we actually, let's say, gave ourselves a year to just go all in? What could we actually do, like productively? Like, how much would that affect our life? And it's just something that I was thinking about, and I'll just ask you to think about it. Like, let's say you dedicated the next 12 months to something. Like, Cass, I am going to make as much money as I possibly can in the next 12 months. Like, what could you actually do? And you're going to give 100%. It's the one thing that you're going to focus on, that you're going to be absolutely putting all of your energy, all of your effort, everything into it. Just making as much money as you can in the next 12 months. What could you do? I don't know. Something for you to think about. The second thing that I found fascinating about Ross Edgley is that Ross Edgley has... basically, he has theories. He has understands theories. Like, when you listen to him in his videos and you listen to him giving advice in podcasts or collaborations, he gives you the background of stuff. He tells you how they did it in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, how running used to be, how he gives you a theory of the foot. And as I was thinking about this, I thought, well, actually, if you look at a lot of people who are the greatest at anything, whether, let's just use football, for example, if you look at people who are really great at football or understand football, those individuals understand the theoretical foundations of football. They can tell you how a foot works. They can tell you how a ball works. They can tell you why a ball has to be made in a certain way. They can tell you why the hips activate in a certain way, and why... like, for example, have you ever noticed that in football, when we're taking football, we tend to take free kicks at an angle. We don't take kicks straight on. And what I'm trying to say is, like, I actually don't actually know the reason for that, but there must be a reason for that. There must be a theory behind that. And as I was thinking about Ross Edgley, I thought about you, and I thought, do you know the theories of stuff? Do you know the foundations of stuff? So, for example, do you know about the foundation of what makes a great marriage and the theories behind a great marriage? If that's something that you want in your life and you want to have a great marriage, maybe you're like Kaz. Actually, do you know what? I pretty much want to master this mental health thing because it's really important. Okay, well, like, if I said to you, we were having a conversation, could you tell me, like, how mental health used to be in the 50s and 60s? Could you talk about how, as you're going through, let's say, as a kid, how does a kid protect him or herself or themselves in terms of mental health? How do teenagers handle their mental health? How do elderly people handle it? Like, could you tell me a little bit about theories about these different subjects? Could we have a conversation and you are able to talk to me about these theories and how things function and break them down and dilute them and pull them apart? And, like, could we actually have, like, a genuine conversation, a throwback, a forth and backwards, an argument, a debate about this? Could we have that? Because I've just found that a lot of us guys, we're very one-dimensional. Like, when we talk about stuff, we can't give much understanding. We can't give context of a lot of things, right? Like, for example, let's say raising of children. Like, could you tell me a little bit about how child development works and how psychology works? Or let me use my arena, for example. Like, for example, in my arena, in the counseling arena and in the coaching arena, there's different forms of coaching, right? So, for example, if we look at counseling as an example, there's different approaches to actually counseling. For example, there is the CBT, cognitive behavioral theory. That's an approach which is very evidence-based. There is the humanistic approach and theory and way of dealing with clients, right? Which basically puts the client always at the front seat, and it isn't about you and you giving them the answers. You have to try and extract the answers from the client, meaning that they are the experts and you're not the expert as a counselor. So I could talk to you about all of this kind of stuff and the different approaches. And my question to you is, as a man or as a woman, whoever is watching this, would you be able to have a conversation with me about different aspects of life and give me the foundation for them? The reason why I was saying this to you is because I've realized, because I never actually went to university, I've realized that the whole point, one of the things that you learn about university is when you go to university, you learn all the foundations. So you learn about things like Marxism, socialism, you learn about economics, you learn about how politics works, all of these different areas of life. And I began to notice when you grow up in a normal world, you don't actually understand them. And the reason why I say this is if you don't understand the foundations of things, then you don't actually get an understanding of how things function. You may see the result, but you don't know what caused the results. So you may, for example, a lot of people struggle to understand Donald Trump, but that's because a lot of people don't understand how politics function, right? If you understood how politics function, and if you understood how human psychology worked and how people make decisions, then you would be able to get why Donald Trump was able to be elected into power. Obviously, we could talk about controversial things and talk about the Russians and talk about like all sorts of things, but you would have a much better understanding if you understood psychology and how people work and how people vote. Like, do you understand how the science of voting, why people vote for certain politicians? A lot of us guys, we just don't understand that. So that's the second thing that I wanted to talk to you about. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is I wrote down, do you either live out your life in the public eye, or do you live out your life in private? So one of the things that I've noticed about Ross Edgley is that Ross is not very big on social media. You don't know very much about Ross. A lot of people don't know about his training, his day-to-day life. We don't know a lot about his missus, his mother, his children. Apart from the information that he's given out in his books or in a few videos, we don't know very much about Ross Edgley. And what I was thinking about is, that's pretty much how a decision that all of us have to make in life. Do we want to live out our lives in the public eye, meaning we talk about our relationship, we show pictures of our children, we show pictures of what we're eating, we show our children's grades. In other words, we live out every aspect of our life in public and everybody knows everything about us. Or, on the other hand, do we live out our life in private, meaning no one knows anything about us, right? We're an enigma. We just are very exclusive. Nobody knows every now and then we might post a picture of a birthday, but nobody even knew that it was our birthday because we never posted pictures of the actual birthday. We didn't vlog it. We didn't thank people. Like, for example, for me, I like to live my life out in private. Like, I don't even have my birthday on Facebook. So you wouldn't even know that it's my birthday unless you were genuinely somebody who knew me privately and like in my actual life, and you emailed me or you called me or you sent me a card and said, Kasim, happy birthday. And I guess the question that I pose to you, and is something for you to think about, is how are you living out your life? Are you living out your life in the public eye, or are you living out your life in private? Does everybody know everything about you, or does everybody know nothing about you, because both of them have advantages, right? So for example, I was thinking, like when I was looking at a lot of YouTubers vlog, they do stuff with their families, interviews, they do vlogs with their families. You know a lot about them, what they eat, their bed, where they bought stuff, they bought their products, their makeup they wear, etc. Right? You know a lot about them. And the great thing about that is they, of course, get more exposure, and as a result, they get more opportunities to work with brands, etc., etc., etc. But on the other side of that coin is, of course, they're not private. If something is happening, if they don't post, let's say that, their husband is in loads of videos, and then their husband is in no videos for like 2 weeks, everybody knows, right? Everybody knows something is up. People will be messaging them saying, what is up? What's going on? But on the other hand, if you live out your life in private, it is much more difficult to be... You may have opportunities that could have come to you, but people don't know you, therefore they can't offer them to you. But the great thing is you have privacy, right? You can walk on the street, you can do whatever, and nobody will care. You could walk into a shop and nobody's going to ask you for a selfie. And you're still successful, and you still got a lot of money. And so I was just thinking about that, and it's just something that I thought maybe would be something for you to think about in your own life. Like whether you're living out your life in private or everybody knows everything about you, and have you thought about some of the advantages and the disadvantages of you doing that? Something for you to think about. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope you found it useful. I hope it's added some value to the quality of your life. As always, if you want to help support me and you want to help me get to 1,000 subscribers by June, please can you like and subscribe to my channel? You'd be an absolute legend. But apart from that, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.